Hey everyone, so what we're going to be doing in today's video is a computer buyer's guide video. So this is for those of you who are looking for to buy a PC, which I'm going to also do another buyer's guide video for those of you that are wanting to buy a Mac. So this is the PC buyer's guide video. So what we're going to be talking about is picking the right PC for you. So let's say, for example, if you're looking for a vintage computer for like Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows 2000, Windows XP for like old games, your best bet is to check around garage sales or thrift stores. If not, you could browse, do a simple little eBay search, but you want to keep in mind the prices on eBay are going to be very expensive. Unless you can find a parts machine on eBay and you can make a good one out of it, then you got yourself a perfectly good vintage PC. But if you want to look for a more modern computer, you can go to like sites like Walmart or Best Buy or sometimes most likely Target or Office Depot, anywhere that sells any store that sell computers. But let's say you're on a tight budget and you just need something just for strictly to go on the internet. But mostly Walmart has a lot of low budget computers that you could choose from other PCs and Chromebooks. So let's say we go to electronics, we go to PC, laptops. And Walmart do sell desktops. They mostly sell a lot of HP desktops. And they sell like, besides the HP desktops, the only desktops they sell are like if you're like wanting a gaming computer. But let's say you want to do an in-store to see what's sold in Walmart. Let's say you want a Chromebook. When you select the Chromebook, you always want to pay attention to the specs. You want to know how much RAM it's got and how much storage. See, like right here where it says 4 gigs of RAM and 16 gigabyte SSD. The SSD is usually mainly for the storage, or say something like 16 gigabyte SSD hard drive. And some Walmarts, I know on Walmart website they do sell refurbished computers, but it's not really sold in the stores. Similar deal with if you buy one from like Newegg. And sometimes the higher the specs usually would have like a higher price. Like this one having 8 gigs of RAM and a 64 gigabyte SSD, while the cheapest would have 4 gigabytes of RAM and a 32 gigabyte SSD. And most of your Chromebooks are going to usually have a webcam, and the vast majority of them are going to have like an Intel CPU. And to keep in mind, these are like good for like going on the internet. And they even sell ones that flip out like a tablet, of course. Well, even though I accidentally clicked on the link, but and the thing you want to keep in mind is what type of ports do it have and the battery life. Like this one in particular has a USB port and a HDMI port, but if you look on the other side, you'll have your typical headphone jack, SD card slot, and all your another USB port, and a USB-C port. Your typical laptop I/O, modern laptop I/O, but so let's go back a bit and let's say we're gonna go look at the Windows laptops. If you're looking for like a Windows laptop, you want to keep in mind, like, the higher the specs is most likely the higher the price. And you could sort out and determine what type of storage that you need and what operating system that's going to come with. Because they do sell some online with some OEM machines with Linux, or you got some that are going to be most likely refurbished that's going to come with like an aftermarket charger. And most of the time, usually the AMD based, most of the AMD based machines you want to keep in mind are going to be very cheap, or a little bit cheaper than the Intel based machines. And you go, if you get one, if you see one that says if you're going to run a lot of programs, you want to make sure you don't get one that says Windows 11 or Windows 10 in S mode. Another way you can tell if you determine what version of Windows is, if you click on the link here, you're going to see this one's got 128 gigabytes of storage, and 4 gigs of RAM. You'll see right here where I say Windows 11 Home in S mode. It's basically a stripped down version of Windows 11 that you can only run certain programs for your typical low-end laptop, which mainly can strictly run just Microsoft programs or programs from the Windows Store. And some of them have a ability where you can upgrade from Windows 11 S mode to a regular Windows 11 if you have the extra. I would say if you have the extra space on that computer to use the normal Windows 11 Home. And most of your low-end laptops are usually going to be like most likely $300, unless if it's not one of the refurbished laptops that's got usually the refurbished laptops are going to have a cheaper price because they've been most likely renewed. It's probably got like an older CPU. So if we click on this one, and you can see this one comes with the Windows 11 Home instead of Windows 11 in S mode. And this one's got the Intel Core i3. Most likely if you get one that's like either an Intel Core i5, an i7, or an i9, it's going to most likely be a little bit more expensive. So same deal if you get one that has like Windows 11 Pro. But however, if you go to like let's say you want to order from an OEM, like Dell, for example, you just go into Dell's website. You can custom order a computer to your liking. Whether, let's say you want a business class machine. Let's say you want to go to view all desktops all in one. let's say you want a Dell Optiplex. These are the ones that are usually found in a lot of businesses. Which look like Dell is shifting away from the Optiplex to Dell Pro, looks like. And most of the business class machines are going to usually have different form factors that you can choose from. And most of the time, the smaller the form factor is usually going to be a little bit cheaper. And let's say you want one with an Intel-based CPU. So we're going to go to, let's say we're going to do a slim desktop. And one benefit on the Dell website, you can still custom order a computer. Which, the thing is that when you select certain features, it's going to want to add certain features that will bump up the price. So let's say you want a computer that's going to have 32 gigabytes of RAM. Let's say we're going to add a 1 terabyte of storage. When you add certain options and features to these computers, you can it'll basically increase the price. Well, if you want to use a different CPU or different graphics, like let's say you want to use an NVIDIA graphics card, or you just want to stick with the integrated graphics. And it does give you like other additional options, like if you want to add Wi-Fi. The thing is when you're buying custom ordering from an OEM, it's most likely going to be a little bit expensive when you add certain options. And most of the time you're going to have to buy the monitor and the computer separate. Let's look at let's see let's say you want a laptop, a business class laptop. Let's say we're going to do a Latitude. And as you see right now, this one's currently $599. Let's say we're going to customize. And let's say we're going to make this one a Windows 11 Pro. And we're going to put 32 gigabytes of RAM and a 1 terabyte of storage. And as you see, it already increased the price a lot. And you want to keep in mind when you buy one of these laptops brand new, if you will have they do have a sale. Most likely you'll have to pay like a little sales tax. And they do give you additional services. And another thing is, if you're buying, you do have the option of buying Microsoft Office. Let's say you want to let's say you want the standalone version of Microsoft Office. So let's say we select Microsoft Office Home and Business 2024. It'll also become bundled with your laptop. And you could buy additional software to go along with your laptop through Dell. But Dell also sells refurbished laptops from from companies that have like a business contract. Let's say we go to Refurbished.com. And this is for like if you want on some kind of budget, which they got choices from desktops to workstations and laptops. So and you could customize the options to your liking and how much you're willing to want to spend on how much money you want to spend on a laptop. Whether you can go from the best value to the best performance. So and you want to keep in mind that there's a few configurations that you can choose from, which it won't let you, even though it ain't gonna let you customize as much. So that's kind of a glimpse of when you want to go in to buy a PC. Is the main important thing is you always want to look at the specs. Let's say we go to Best Buy, want to buy a computer from Best Buy. Let's say computers and tablets. Let's say we want a laptop. Let's say we're going to look at a standard desktop. And we're going to go to all desktops, of course. So, and also Best Buy. Although Best Buy, you have a lot more options than buying one from Walmart. Let's say you want an Intel-based machine. And we're going to do a new condition. So we're just going to look at this one for an example. But one important thing is when you're buying computers from like Best Buy or Walmart or buy a computer from anywhere in general is mainly the specs. You want to know how much RAM it has, how much storage, and what version of Windows. At least you know what you're buying before you bring it home and go to using it, because the specs play an important role of how much you're willing to spend on the computer. And what you're going to most likely use it for is the main important thing. So like this one comes with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And this one's got 16 gigabytes of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. And this one looks like it's got plenty of ports, and this one's got some fancy wood trim. But and this one comes with Copilot and a display port. The only downside when you're buying an OEM computer from Walmart or Best Buy or any other store that sell a lot of OEM machines is you will have a lot of bloatware that you're going to have to remove, and it's most likely a bunch of trial software. So I hope this video helped you guys out, and thanks for watching.